Francine, welcome.
Thank you, Marcel. Thanks for having me here. Hope we're all having a great Congress here in Rotterdam.
I am
Yeah,
sure.
very special. 100 years.
100 years
That's
and
amazing.
record participation.
Oh
Wonderful.
yes. Oh yes. Yes.
Really great. Francine, first of all, congratulations on your role as Secretary General of the Asia Pacific Sea Alliance. And in that new role, you've gone from a specialist to much more a generalist role, from communications to Secretary General. Wonderful. How did you prepare for the enlargement of that role?
I think any new role, for that matter, is a continuous learning process. But indeed, my scope of responsibilities has widened from being very communications focused to now a more generalist, more general management and leadership role. And I think what really helps me up to this point is my industry background. The fact that I'm entering my 14th year now in the industry, and I know that's short in this sector where people have had their professional careers for decades, 3 or 4 decades at least. But in that sense, I think someone who comes from the industry knows not just the value of the sector itself, also the complexity of the sector, and I think that's very important. Um, Second, I think the fact that I understand associations. I also come from the world of associations, having had experience with ISF. And I think in this role, it's very important to understand partnerships and people and the power of gathering people, convening people, and discussing critical issues that are facing our industry today. And I think last but not the least, some of the communications skills that I've picked up along the way, I think will be very crucial in this role as well. A lot of this job is communications. It's about pushing for advocacies. It's about building awareness. It's about creating clarity in, again, very complex, very technical topics, but have very practical implications for business.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You mentioned it already. Before APSA, you worked at ISF. What are some of the things that you took from ISF, that you learned from ISF, that you can bring to APSA?
I think in ISF, there is a lot of emphasis on the technical and advocacy work. Right now at APSA, we are undergoing a strategic review. We are on our 30th year as an association, so we think it's a good time to have a review, a deep dive into who we are as an association, where do we want to go in the next few years. And a lot of the answers that are coming up when I speak to people is that the expectations on associations are changing. Expectations on associations are expanding. And with my experience in ISF, I understand that there are so many important regulatory, technical, and advocacy issues that need to be focused on. And that's what I'd like to bring into APSA as well. I'm not a technical expert myself, but I understand the importance of these issues. And that associations are now not just communities or networking platforms, but that associations are expected to move the needle on certain issues, certain topics, and influence policy direction in critical issues like innovation, IP, or seed roadmaps. And that's what I'd like to see in APSA as well in the future.
Wonderful. I think the region Asia Pacific has a lot of subsistence farmers, smallholder farmers, and in many of the policy discussions that I'm attending, those terms come back. They keep coming back. For example, the discussions on access and benefit sharing, or the discussions on PVP. How can the seed sector, perhaps more specifically the seed sector in Asia, and maybe also APSA, what can you do to improve the livelihood of the subsistence and smallholder farmers?
Indeed, Marcel, you're right. The region is dominated by smallholder farmers. That's a unique feature in Asia. But I think, regardless of size, big or small farmers, they need innovation. They need access to quality seed, the seed choice. They need to be able to make the right decisions and have the right information to make those decisions on what seeds they need, what suits their local farming conditions, or what their market needs. So I think in that sense, smallholder farmers also require the same level of innovation that bigger farmers are able to enjoy. And I also think that in the region where there are a lot of smallholder and subsistence farmers who may rely on still traditional cultivation practices, I think the role of extension services is more critical in Asia than in any other, probably in Africa as well. But in the region, at least I know a lot of the players are very engaged in capacity building and extension services for smallholders because we need to see farmers not just as users of our products, but as decision makers and solution providers.
Sure.
And I think that that mindset is the right balance, the healthy one when we relate to our clients.
Wonderful. Very well said. Thank you, Francine.
Thank you, Marcel.